What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillispie, and I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why the Cubs need to sign Cody Bellinger right now. But before we get into that and a lot of other things going on in the world of Cubs baseball, be part of the Cubs baseball channel. We're as hot as the team playing out on the field, and it's because of you guys. Be a part of it, and it's so easy to do. That's right. Click and subscribe, and we'll try to hit you every day with some content, probably more than once when the Cubs are playing like this. All right, let's get right into it. Cody Bellinger, again on Friday, was just magnificent for the Cubs, and the Cubs need to sign this guy now. I think all of you in the message board, all of you guys that have commented, seems like every other comment is, hey, we need to sign Bellinger. We need to sign Bellinger. And I got to tell you, we need to sign Bellinger. I agree. I think everybody agrees. And we're going to talk about that before we get into the Cubs and the Reds. And I'm going to tell you the top 5 reasons that the Cubs need to do this now. And the first one is that this guy is a difference maker. Look at the doubleheader. Both ends of the doubleheader, he's coming up with big plays, whether it be in the field, whether it be on the bases, whether it be driving in runs, home runs, everything that you need from a difference maker. Cody Bellinger supplies that. Someone and I were talking about Bellinger yesterday, and I said, I just didn't know how good this guy was. And my friend looks at me, he's like, how? He's like MVP. And I'm like, well, you know what? I watch Cubs baseball. I saw him when they played the Cubs. He was okay. But you have to watch this guy every single day to just understand how good he is at doing everything on the baseball diamond and leading a team. And the first one of those things is driving in runs. I've heard analytics people say, oh, you know what? I don't believe in RBIs. Who cares about RBIs? Because, a lot of that has to do with you having an opportunity with men on base. What if you're on a team and you don't have men on base or you're leading off or whatever? That's garbage. It's garbage. Look, driving in runs is tough to do, and special players do it. You get over 100 RBIs in a season, you're a difference maker for your team. And Cody Bellinger has driven in more runs here lately than anyone in baseball, but it's not just because there's men on base. He just hits it out of the park when they're not. I've played baseball, been around the game for, I hate to say it, but like 40 years. And there's a different player that drives in runs, that gets hits with men on base, and that doesn't. So anyone that's out there that doesn't think RBIs are a legitimate category, get out of here. I'm not buying that at all. The defense, the base running, and the intangibles. This guy brings them all. He just does it all. You put him in center field, hey, it's like a Gold Glover out there. You put him at first base, he's excellent there. Love him at first base just because he's so calm. Things don't go well. Cubs are playing in a lot of close games. We walk the first guy. We hit the second guy. There's no outs. Got to calm down. Everybody calm down. And then all of a sudden, here he comes. He's been there and he's done that. Like some of the other guys on the team, too. Look, Kyle was there when the Cubs won the World Series. Bellinger got his World Series with the Dodgers. Gomes got his with the Nationals. So there's guys that have won and have rings, but Bellinger just seems to be the dude, right? Him and look, Dansby Swanson in there as well. He got his with the Braves, but those two guys just keep everyone calm. It's just such a good mix. And I love the fact that Patrick Mooney from The Athletic told us on one of our shows that these guys, they take themselves seriously. Like, this is a serious bunch, which tells me that they're there to play baseball and win games. And it's not about the contract. And that's what I would worry about with paying someone big money. What's it going to look like after they're signed? How many of these guys have these huge years? Then you sign them, then they're hurt all the time, then they don't play hard. I just don't think that that's going to be the case with Cody Bellinger. I think he was hurt the last couple of years. He was injured. He was trying to get back. He's back now. You watch the way that he attacks pitching, right? You throw him that high fastball, he's got the swing path for it. You throw him the slider down, he's going to hit that as well. Change ups, whatever. He'll go the other way. He had a great at bat in yesterday's game where he just flipped the ball down the line at third because no one was there and got a base hit. Every time you turn around, this guy is doing something. And the fourth reason is because you can call him Mr. Clutch. Yesterday's game, one of the doubleheader. He homers to get you on the board. Then it's late. There's a couple of men on base. First base is open. What do the Reds do? The boneheads throw him a pitch, and he gets a base hit and knocks in two, and it changes the entire game. I would have walked him. Like, the guys, you don't want to tangle with this guy, but they did it, and Mr. Clutch came through. He's not going to get a hit every single time up. No one does. But he's going to force the pitcher to throw strikes. He's going to attack those strikes, and he's going to put the ball in play somewhere, and good things happen when he's at the plate. But there's also high leverage situation guys, clutch guys. He's one. When the game's on the line, he's excellent. He's excellent anyway, but he's even better when the game's on the line. That's a really big thing that you're looking for with your star player. You're going to give this guy, 6-7 years, which I'm normally against those big, long contracts, but I've fallen in love, just like you guys have, with the entire package that Cody Bellinger brings to the table. All right, final thing. A lot of you guys blame Jed Hoyer, Carter Hawkins, Tom Ricketts because they haven't signed Cody Bellinger. Well, let me tell you, they're trying to sign him. They've been trying to sign the guy since the beginning of the year when they realized that he was healthy and he was a great player. This guy's got Scott Boras as an agent. Let's be honest here. Scott Boras is really venom to the game of baseball. It's all about who's going to pay the most money and all that. And unfortunately in life, it's not always about the most money. Sometimes it's about the best fit. It's where you're comfortable, where your family likes to live. There's more to life than squeezing out that extra dollar. Every time I see Javy Baez, who doesn't have Boras as an agent, but every time I see him in a Tigers uniform, I can tell he doesn't like it. It just isn't him, right? My opinion. You want to see someone having a good time playing baseball? Watch Cody Bellinger. Look at what he's doing right now on this Cubs team. You can tell the guy's having a great time playing baseball. So what I'm hoping is that maybe that'll factor in. Cubs are going to have money. Maybe they find a deal that works for both sides. But there's no way he's going to sign before the end of the season. I think they've tried. And look, it's not as easy as you think it is. You could go in there and say, hey, we'll give you everything you want. And Scott Boras is still going to be like, we'll just wait until after the season, because he's going to want to go push up against the other teams. Look, don't be surprised if the Dodgers don't get back in the mix to bring him home. He could end up with the Yankees. He could go a lot of different places, but it's not going to be Jed Hoyer, Carter Hawkins, and Tom Ricketts not trying. I promise you. I don't know Carter, but I know Jed and I know Tom, and I also know that they've tried to sign this guy early in the season. And you know what? He's got Scott Boras as an agent, and he's not signing until the season's over, unless a miracle happens. And it's going to be a lot about money, probably not as much about fit. But he's a great fit with the Cubs, and it would be great if he did sign. All right, let's switch gears, guys, and talk about yesterday's doubleheader. But first, let me pull the standings up. And I know yesterday's doubleheader game, too, really hurt. I do want to get into that. And I know that you guys have commented on the boards about the way that things turned out yesterday. And it did hurt, a chance to sweep a doubleheader, really a chance to put the Reds away. And the home run, and then, the 2-out single in the ninth inning off of Alzolay. But even with that loss, Cubs are still just 3.5 games back of Milwaukee. Reds had to have that, or I think they're out of it anyway, but 6.5 games back. And the Cubs and the Reds play 2 more games, and then we don't see them anymore. That's it. So the season series is over after today, or after Sunday. So right there where you want to be, still playing great baseball. You had one bad inning. Now, first game was great. You got the runs by Bellinger. You got the great pitching again from Jordan Wicks, who's now put 2 great starts together. Still unable to pitch more than 5 innings. That's a development thing. They don't develop them to pitch more than 5 innings. So you got a wall there. And then the bullpen with Keegan Thompson gave up some runs in the ninth. It got a little too sticky for me, but they got the final out, move on. Second game is the one I want to really get into. And the reason I want to get into this game is because it's easy to blame Adbert Alzolay, who's now blown 2 of his last 3 saves. But the way I'm looking at this is that the Cubs have 4 guys that they use in games that are high leverage, that are on the line, that are close, and close late, right? Leiter Jr., Merriweather, Palencia, and Alzolay, right? So once in a while, another guy will get mixed in there. But some of these other guys need to step up. I mean, you traded Nelson Velasquez for Quas. He's he's just another guy. Like, he needs to step up. Some of these other guys, somebody's got to give a break. You can't just have one guy that you can rely on to close out a game. And then the Cubs play in a ton of close games. So these guys are always out there in these big spots. I'm not putting it on them. I'm putting it on the other guys in the bullpen. There's a lot of other guys out there that can pitch, and they need to step up and pitch and make it maybe where you can go to 7 different guys instead of just 4. But the Cubs have been so good in these close games, and it's because of the bullpen. You're going to give up a home run sometimes. And as painful as it was watching that ball leave the park, that's just the way that this game works. Even Mariano Rivera, who's the greatest of all time, blew some saves. I would rather you blow a save throwing strikes and that was a good pitch. It was a really good pitch. It was just a good swing. I would rather that happen than walk guys, hit guys, and give the game away. So I just think it's time for some other guys to step up. They'll have a chance to do that today. Cincinnati, 5:40 start times. I mean, where did you come up with this? So that's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Isn't it like 7:05 or 6:05? 5:40, be there. Okay. Well, we'll be watching Great American Ballpark today. And look at this young pitching matchup. This was a pitching matchup you could have seen in Double-A last year. Andrew Abbott, 8-4, a 3.35 ERA for Cincinnati. Javy Assad, who is a guy that wasn't on anyone's radar and just came quietly up through the system. They actually really let him pitch. He's a guy that got to the big leagues and could have given you 6 or 7 because he did that in the minor leagues. We saw him do it. And he's just continued to figure out a way to get outs in the big leagues. He's not overpowering, but he's got a good pitch mix, and he'll attack. He hits his spots. I knew this was coming, and now it's here. He's in the starting rotation, and he's one of the best options that the Cubs have. 3-2 record and a 2.96 ERA. If you like watching guys, homegrown guys who have been with the organization that represent the farm system and the development, these are the 2 guys that are going to be really fun to watch. Andrew Abbott actually started the year in Double-A, so I saw him when he was at the Lookouts this season. So, that's what we're looking at right now. Pretty good pitching matchup and a lot of fun as we kind of get ready for today's game. And the Cubs, look, win today, right back on track again. It's tough to do, though, on the road. And that's kind of where we are as I pull up the wild card standings one last time is – even with that devastating loss in yesterday's game, when you look at the standings here, Cubs are still 2 games up on the rest of the pack as far as that second wild card. And honestly, and we're not even talking about catching the Phillies, but it's possible. I mean, Philadelphia's played great baseball, but they've lost 2 in a row, and all of a sudden, if the Cubs would have held on to that game, they would have been a game and a half behind them for the first spot. It's turning into a 3-team race. I'm waiting for the Marlins to fall off. I just don't take them seriously, but they're only 2 back. Cincinnati had to have that win. That keeps them a game behind Arizona and San Francisco. And don't forget, after this series with the Reds is over, we're going to see Arizona and San Francisco. So you got playoff baseball that really started at the trade deadline that's going to go all the way until the end of the season. So that's all you can ask for as a friend. Asking for a friend. All you can ask for as a fan is just to have some games that are meaningful. And going back to our subject today, Cody Bellinger, with him in the lineup and healthy, the Cubs are better than these other teams. And I think that's my last point today. When Bellinger got hurt, the Cubs just started to sink. Same thing with Dansby Swanson. When those 2 guys are on your team and they're in the clubhouse and they're out on the field, you got a winning team. And so we'll see what happens. But today's game, 5:40. We'll do a show tomorrow before the game as well. If anything breaks, we'll have that for you as well. And as I say, man, please be part of our channel. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. We're doing this for you, the Cubs baseball channel. And go Cubs.